Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Yes, good afternoon, good evening, I should say, and welcome back to Top of the Kops, the new show. Well, I say new, we're 27 episodes in. It's been going for over half a year now, but I always say it just in case you haven't watched it before. But welcome, episode 27 of Top of the Kops. If you are watching now, please drop us a like. It really does help with the channel. Drop a little comment there as well. Whilst you're at it, press the subscribe button and share the stream far and wide, because we have got an incredible guest today. You would have seen on the thumbnail who it is. He's the former Soccer AM mastermind. He's an absolute legend of the football TV world. He's got stories for days and nights, and we're going to definitely hear a few tonight. He's got a beer with him, and so have I. We've got to celebrate in these dark times. Man like Rocket Long, how are you, sir? Thank you so much for coming on. God, sir.
How you doing, mate? You all right? You good? Mate, first of all, I've got to apologise for the hat, mate. I'm in the summer house because Nipper is kicking off, so reception's a little bit dodgy. It's freezing, so I've got the old CP company hat on. Mate, I struggle to wear it this way because I feel like I look a bit of a wad.
I love how you've dropped in.
What are you saying?
Listen, mate.
Don't know, innit? I've got to change it back.
I'm a big fan of that one. We will touch on CP company a lot more later on. But for those of you who don't know Rocket, I mean, you know me, mate. I'm a big fan of you. I've watched your stuff for a long time. You're behind some of the best TV, really, especially when it comes to football stuff. So talk to me about, if there are people who are watching who don't know what you do or did, let them know now.
Well, I mean, where do I start? I started on Soccer AM at the age of 15 and basically just worked my way up through the ranks, assistant producer, doing a bit of presenting, probably most famous for Skill School. Basically came up with the idea to battle at academies with skills, and I'd rock up and then I'd pick the two most skillful lads who had the tricks, and then they'd go head to head over 3 rounds. And yeah, it was let's get the lesson on, and the boys would show us their skills. I used to love doing that though. It was great fun. Rock up at the academies, and all the boys were like, "Oh, Rocky's here. Oh, we've got this idea where we're going to do this bowling ball celebration." And I was like, yeah, this is like, they had so many ideas. They're really creative. But the problem is, without the skills, the creative side meant nothing. So I was very much like, lads, you've got to do more than just around the world. Like, I need a bit more than that to be able to do a bowling celeb or lift one of the lads up and cheer him off. You got to, you know. And the worst thing about doing Skill School was probably the point where I had to substitute one of the lads because he wasn't up to scratch. And, you know, he kept his head when the cameras were on him, he kept dropping the ball. So, you know, we're on round 2 and I've got to make a decision because we haven't got a piece with this lads. He can't do anything. And there were points where I had to say, look, I'm so sorry, mate, but we're going to have to go with someone else. And I'd sub him off. Oh, and he got rinsed by the lads. It was horrible. But I had to do it for the good of the piece.
Oh, mate, that's sore. Did he go on to be a big name, this fella, or?
It was a few of them, to be fair. The one I did do it with that were good, Henderson. Hendo did it.
The captain.
And who else? Yeah. Raheem Sterling did it. We had a few actually that went on, but obviously because you've got the skills doesn't mean that you're a good player. I think a lot of them realised that because I'd go back a year later and the ones that I'd shot with had been kind of moved on.
Yeah, I mean, Soccer AM, such an iconic program. I mean, one of my best mates, actually, Joe, his dad was the gooner in the gallery rock, right? So Joe Harris is my mate. Rest his soul. Yeah, Joe's, I can't remember his name now. What was his name?
Andy Harris.
That was it, yeah. And yeah, so yeah. I said to Joe, I'd give him a shout out. So there it is with the main man Rocket. But yeah, like I was saying, man, there's so many features, skits, cultural references that happened throughout those primitive years of Soccer AM. And you were there really for all the best moments, the worst moments when people have maybe walked off air. I remember hearing a story you said on another interview about how Pete Doherty's thrown a fag in the Johnson's paint trophy, the trophy itself. I mean, you must have stories for days. Just try and read off. I mean, because we've got to remember, this is late 90s, early 2000s TV, and it's very, very different to how it is now.
You could get away with a lot more back then. Like the whole soccerette thing, you know, getting a girl to come on, take her top off to reveal the prize underneath, and we'd all close up on the t-shirt. And then, you know, Lovejoy would pretend to tie his shoes, so he'd bend down and then look up her skirt. Can you imagine doing that now? Like, it's ridiculous.
No way.
After the era, we had, I can't believe, I cringe now even thinking about it, but the soccerette would do their party trick, which we knew they could do anyway, and they would win a little trophy, and they would get on the trampoline, little trampoline, and jump up and down with the trophy for no reason other than to see their boobs wobble. And I was like, dude, how is this going out live on Saturday morning? Like, it was just ridiculous, mate. So, yeah, I think after the kind of Keys Gray incident, I think like Sky kind of looked across everything and went, you can't really be doing that anymore. Like, what's going on? You got to get rid of the soccerette. So, but yeah, some of the stuff back then, like the Pete Doherty, like that was a crazy show. I remember I think it was FA Cup final day, because we always used to have pints of milk at the table for FA Cup final day, and they've come on and they're smashed. They've got a crate of Kronenbergs. I said to them, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry lads, but you're not going to be able to bring those on." And Pete went, "We do what we want." I was like, "Hey, here you go then." And they came on and they were smashed. And first interview, first 5 minutes, we're thinking we can get them off. Next thing you know, one of them spat milk through his teeth at Tim on his jeans, and Lovejoy live on air has gone, "What are you doing? You just spat milk at," and it was like one of those moments where you're just like, I can't watch, but I can't not watch. So they end up getting off. We had Mel B. She left halfway through the show. It just wasn't having it. Wasn't having the hairy strikers. Yeah, it was nuts, mate.
The Zigga incident.
That's it, mate. It was not long after that where she just thought, "What am I doing here?" She was hungry, so she just went.
Yeah, she ain't got a Nando's. I remember you saying. To be fair to her, she's probably had it in the neck around that time from Keith Lemon anyway. So she was probably like, Jesus Christ, is anyone going to take me seriously here? I'm a platinum artist. You know what I mean? Fuck it up. But
well,
say that again, mate.
It's not like she needs the exposure, is it? All the money, to be fair.
Exactly. So yeah, she just popped off. But I think, like you said, man, TV was such a different era back then. I started watching it, I would say, around 2000. I'd say when I was 7, so about 2001.
Oh yeah.
And still to this day, Rock, I watch it every weekend. I mean, you were across so many stars coming into their limelight of their careers. You know, you had likes of Robbie Fowler coming on at a young age. Who was one player you met back in the day? We'll say back in the day, 20 odd years ago. Who was one player that you met that's gone on and hasn't changed at all? So if you've met someone out again and you've gone, oh, he's just the same as when he had spots on his face and he was coming through the reserves, and he's just exactly the same now. You've met them all.
Yeah. To be fair, Jordan Henderson, obviously I did skill school with him when he was 17. I met him last year again. We hadn't seen each other for like good 10, 12 years. Wow. And I spoke to him. He was just like, all right, Rocky, what's going on? And I made him dress as Father Christmas for a betting company. But he was good. He was up for a laugh. Do you know what I mean? He didn't take himself too seriously. He's like, yeah, I'll have a bit of fun. What do you want me to do? So I was like, this is England legend, captain, Champions League winner. And I've got him there dressed as Father Christmas. And he's one of those Father Christmas outfits that's got the little elf as the bottom. So it looks like he's carrying him. And he's got in it and he's done it. And I was just like, oh, mate, fair play. But one of my favourite people to ever come on the show is probably Gaza. Like, what a legend that man is. Like, he just always brought really good energy and a lot of warmth. And I'll tell you, like, I was 16. I don't know if you know this. I told you this story before, but I was 16. I wasn't driving. I had a moped, little 50cc chicken chaser. And
little Gilero.
we got chatting after the show over in Grasshoppers, the pub we'd all go and have a beer in. And I was sat there at the pub in between Gazza, Razor Ruddock, Jimmy Five Bellies was over there, like, and we're all just having a chat. And I mentioned that my mum was coming to pick me up because I can't drive, and I said I got a moped. And then Gazza went, "Here, Jimmy, give Rocket our number." So Jimmy Five Bellies wrote his Gazza's phone number on a cigarette packet, gave it to me, and Gazza went, "Rocket, you're ever in Newcastle? Give me a call. We'll take the Harley Davidsons out." And I was just like, 16. This is Gazza giving me his phone number, saying take the Harley Davidsons out. I was like, okay, cheers, mate. And then obviously, I never had the guts to call him. I never had the balls to just kind of, and it just sat there for years. And then I was just like, I wonder if that number still works. Called it, and obviously he changed it by then. But what a surreal moment that was for me.
Was the fag box full up? Was there fags in there as well?
No, he ripped the top off. He literally ripped the top off the cigarette box.
I was going to say.
Just wrote it in there. And I've still got it somewhere. A little bit of paper. Yeah, a little bit of cigarette paper.
And
yeah, man.
So you never called him, obviously, but I mean, if you'd have actually gone
I didn't have the guts.
Was Gazza still playing at this time, Rock?
No, he'd retired then. He'd not long retired. I think he was about 3 years probably retired. And yeah, so he wasn't playing, but it was just, I remember him saying, he went, "Hey, Rocky, you can't get me some of those dodgy sky boxes, can you? That gets me the free Sky." I'm 16. I'm kind of basically work experience. I don't. And he's like, "Oh, I need to try and get one of my cards chipped." I was just like, he's such a legend, you know, got all these contacts, and I don't know about money, but he's done all right. And he's asking if I can get him a free Sky box. I was just like, what a man you are.
By himself.
So yeah, got a lot of time for Gazza.
Yeah, no, I love that. Brilliant story, that. Right, as this is a Liverpool channel,
connection is terrible.
We'll back on to Soccer AM stories in a bit and what you've been up to since. But as we are on the Liverpool channel, big win for Liverpool away at Crystal Palace, 7-0 Rocket. I mean, I was watching that and I just couldn't believe every time a goal.
Massive.
It was just like we're in dreamland, and I've actually come to the conclusion that I reckon that's the best Liverpool performance, especially away, easily away. But it's one of the best Liverpool performances I've ever seen in my life. Obviously, took us back to the top of the table after we beat Tottenham. But Man United now, I mean, you support United, Rock. You'll have to say it loud and proud.
I know. We turned the table slightly, you know. I honestly thought we were going to get done by Leeds. You know, Bamford, I thought he was just going to get a hat trick. Like, I put him as my captain because I thought because our defence is so weak. Like, Maguire, just don't know what's up with him, man. It's just a liability at the moment. The whole defence, I've lost confidence in them completely. So I honestly thought that we were going to get done over. And the game was mental, wasn't it? It was like, could have been like 10-4. It was one of those crazy games. But yeah, I do feel like United might have turned a corner. Although saying that, they're probably going to get beat next week. Like, we've got Everton, Leicester.
Yeah.
Who's it? Wolves. Yeah. And then we've got Man United, Liverpool on the 17th. So that'll be a real test, I think. But I took Salah out of my team. I can't believe it. Out of my fantasy team. Mate.
Because he only came on for 25 minutes, but he scored 2 and assisted 1. So he's a joke. Absolute joke. You mentioned 17th. That's actually my birthday as well.
Really?
Every single year we play United at Anfield on my bloody birthday. Same last year. We won 2-0. I think Salah went up the whole length of the pitch and scored from a counter-attack. A few years back, Rooney scored at the Anfield Road end on my birthday. We lost 1-0. But this is going to be such a big game, Rocket. And a lot of people, the purists anyway, would say, well, you know, Liverpool City, it's been a great title rivalry over the last year or two. But what a better title rivalry to have than Liverpool United. I mean, I don't actually think, Rock, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's ever really been a time where it's just us two head and head for the title. We come second, you come first, but we're a long way behind most. So it'd be great to see.
I'm excited about it because I always feel like, I know obviously it's the Manchester derby and that, and everyone bigs up Man United, but there's so much history between United and Liverpool that for me, that's the must-win game for me. Like, as a United fan, growing up, it was just like those big rivalries, and I don't know. Like, to be honest though, I can't see United beating Liverpool at the moment. I just can't see it happening. Like, I'll be surprised just because of the quality you got in your team. I love Jurgen Klopp. You know, I'd love him to be United manager. I think he's brilliant. The way that all the players kind of believe the hype, they all kind of, I don't know. He just seems like he's got the dressing room down, and everyone kind of believes in him. So yeah, I mean, Ollie, I don't know, man. I like Ollie, and I feel like he's got the players there to do a good job. But there's something about his substitution decisions and his tactics sometimes where I'm a bit like, oh man, is that the best thing to do? Like, I don't know. My confidence, I'm a bit 50-50 at the moment. Last week, I was very much like, he's got to go. Like, we need to bring someone in with a bit of experience, with a bit of, who's been there and done it. But who knows, mate? I think the test will be against Leicester. See how we do there. And then obviously against you boys. We'll see.
Yeah. How did you start supporting United as well, by the way, Rob? How did that one come about?
Well, obviously, being a Southerner, it makes perfect sense for me to support Man United. But seriously, my old man's a United fan, and his brother is a big United fan. I don't know why they're Man United fans. This was kind of going back before United were any good, so I don't actually know the story behind it. But when you're in that environment and you're brought up being a United, you just kind of, because originally I was a West Ham fan. I supported West Ham because my dad used to. My dad does double glazing windows, and he teamed up with a guy called Phil Parks, who was West Ham keeper. This is going back a long, long time. Only a few people remember Phil Parks. So they had a window company together. So I used to go to a lot of West Ham games. I remember seeing Jamie Redknapp play for the West Ham reserves, and saw all the legends through West Ham. Frank Lampard was there. Like, I'd go and watch a couple of those games when they were coming through. But because my dad was a big United fan, it was kind of like, nah, come on, you're United. Let's watch United. And then obviously Champions League final, Bayern Munich, mate. Oh, what a game! Well, the last 5 minutes. And then I just loved it, mate. I loved the way that United played football. I loved everything about Cantona, and as a kid, I had a picture of Paul Ince and Roy Keane. But my favourite player probably was Dennis Irwin, just because he was an absolute rock at the back, never made mistakes. And I used to play left back as well, so I kind of looked at Dennis Irwin as being a bit of an idol. Not much personality, but a quality defender. So yeah, it's been a bit of a, probably should still be a West Ham fan, but my dad kind of pulled me over to the dark side, and then once you get to the age of 12, 13, you're stuck with the team that you've chosen, really.
Well, that's it. For me, my mum is a Scouser. She sold burgers in the Kop end in the late 70s. So
really?
From the day I was born, I had the Liverpool bib on, and that was that. And here I am with a Liverpool channel. So it's all come a bit full circle, really. So I'm happy that she took that job. Jimmy Case gave her that job. This is going way back. Jimmy Case. He won the 77 Champions League final, and he was going out with my mum's mate, and he said, "Does your Amelie need a job?" And she went selling programs. Unbelievable. Yeah, big up, mum. That's good to understand. I mean, if we were to put a little prediction on it, Rock, I know it's still 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
A lot changed up until then, but I can't see anything but a home win. Not just because it's you, though. Barcelona could come tomorrow, and I don't think they. Real Madrid, and we beat Barca 4-0 last year, didn't we? So I think it'll be. Don't get me wrong. We haven't really seen an end-to-end Liverpool United game for a while, man. Been a lot of 0-0s, very cagey, especially when Mourinho was there. I'd love to see a 4-3, or it would probably get a heart attack, but I'd love to see it.
It's normally Liverpool-Newcastle, isn't it, the 4-3s? But mate, it's well overdue a big game like that. It just depends on injuries for us. I know that Wan-Bissaka's out for the Carabao Cup, and so is McTominay. So those boys should be fit by then. It's a hard one to call. To be fair, it depends which United turn up, and also which Liverpool turn up. Really, just with Salah, Mane, Firmino, like you've got such a dangerous three up front, and our defense is looking rope. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, that's quality right there. I don't know if it could be a tight game. I don't think it will be massive numbers. I feel like both teams will be kind of quite cagey because it means so much. So I think you'll probably be looking at like 2-1, 2-0, 2-1 to United.
Oh, he says United at the end and then has a little swig of beer. You cheeky man.
Yeah.
You doing that then, you cheeky man. Listen, it's going to be tight. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I think it's difficult to kind of quantify how well United are doing, I think, because you just rely so heavily on Bruno at the minute. And I think if he gets... And listen, people have said this about Liverpool for years now. If Salah gets injured, if Van Dijk gets injured, if Mane gets injured, and we've kind of proven that actually we can still deal and still win without these big names. I just don't know if that would be the same for United. I think at the minute he scores every single game, which is a great thing, obviously, for you lot. But if he goes missing, where are the goals and assists coming from?
This is it, mate. This is it. And Pogba's a funny one as well because just when he's kind of like he wants it, he's unstoppable. But most of the time, he can't be bothered. Like that's how I feel. I feel like he's a bit like, do you know what I mean? If I want to turn it on, I'll turn it on. He's a frustrating player to have in your squad. Is Pogba. But yeah, it all depends whether Bruno and the players link up and. Do you know what frustrates the life out of me? Like silly little wayward passes that don't reach their men, and like I see a lot of that, and I'm just like, come on, you get the basics right. If you get the basics right, then we can like ping balls over to Rashford, and and he'll get on the end of them. But I don't know, man. I just don't know about Ollie, man. If I'm honest,
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. So Darren, who's a regular on the channel. Without being biased, well, of course he's being biased. He says Jurgen is our modern-day Shankly. Ollie is trying his best, but I think if United could get someone more experienced and more influential, it would be thanks but no thanks to Ollie. Claudia T agrees with it. And then she asked the question that you were alluding to there for Rocket. Do you think Ollie will be at United next season?
That's a great question. I do think it depends on where United finish in the league this season. I think if we're top 3, he probably will be there. I think any lower than that, I think questions will be asked. And I just don't know. Do you know what? I was chatting to him, name drop here. I was chatting to Wes Brown on my Somehow Stories a few weeks ago. And I said to him, still have faith in Ollie? And he was like, yeah, I back him. Ollie's at the wheel. I back him. And I said, but is he the type of manager to get angry at the players if they're not putting it in? Like, you see Mourinho on the sideline, screaming at the players. You see the passion in him. And he's shouting them, like he's kind of, you can see it. He's living and breathing it. And then I look at Ollie and he's a very different person. He's a very different character. But I said to Wes, like, does Ollie ever kind of shout and scream at the players? Because I just can't see that ever happening. But Wes was like, no, he does. Yeah, I've heard him ball him out. He went to Cardiff, like, he heard him, like, screaming the roof down, but you don't see that side of him really. He always comes out very smiley and very nice, and when United aren't playing well, it's hard to take that when you're being
I can understand
nice. You want to see a little bit of fire in your belly.
I think with Ollie, he's actually escaped death so many times. Every time the job is pretty much untenable, he wins. He beats PSG away, or he'll beat Chelsea at home, or City at home. Like, fucking hell, mate. You just keep playing with your lives, don't you? You've got 9 lives and they're going to run out soon. That's what I genuinely think. And I think as well, if you deep down ask United fans, do you want Ollie for the next 5 years? Mate, they're not going to say yes. They're not going to say
no one's saying yes for the next 5 years.
He's a replacement. It's an appointment that's made out of nostalgia and...
Massively.
I don't know. It's difficult because he obviously
he was there. Do you know what though? We will definitely be eating our words if he goes on and they win the league. If they go and win the Premier League now, then his job's pretty much secure in it for the next 3, 4 years, 5 years maybe. Hopefully not. But it all depends, I think, how we finish. Obviously, Champions League dead and gone. Like, that was a shame. I honestly thought we were going to do a Bayern Munich in that. I was waiting. I was thinking it's going to happen again. We're going to come back. We're going to win. And then obviously it never happens. And now we're in Europa. But
now you're in Europa.
What it is, mate. So yeah.
Thursday night football. That's what we like.
Yeah.
Aaron says, if you could appoint Poch tomorrow, would you? Now, this is a question I think every United fan has thought about, really. If Poch is available tomorrow, do you sign him?
Yeah, probably. I think so.
And the Rockets still thinks they're going to win 2-1 at Anfield. Get out of here.
I don't know. It's so hard. It's such a hard call because you don't know. Like, Poch could come in and just do exactly the same as Ollie. But I do like the way that Poch manages his team and the way he sets up his teams. I know that he was loved at Spurs, and I think that was a bit of shock when he got kind of sacked from there. But I don't know. It's really, if only he had a crystal ball. Do you know what I mean? I'd hate to say, I'd take Poch and then only go and win the league because then I look a right fool. But I don't know. I just don't know if he's United manager. Do you know what it is, right? It's so hard because he's come in, like, whoever came in after Fergie was going to have a rough ride. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've had so many managers come in that have just been, like, the fans just have no, they're just like, no, next, get rid, not good enough. Do you know what it's like? It's a bit like Lovejoy doing Soccer AM. You know, he built it up. He built it up to a show where everyone was kind of like invested and knew the crew and loved the features. And then suddenly he left, and whoever was going to come in and take that job had a tough job. You know, big shoes to fill. What's that, mate?
It's the poison chalice job, really. Whoever, I mean, when you're so used to someone like Lovejoy coming in every Saturday or Alex Ferguson coming in every Saturday for 25 years, you know, it's like your mum divorcing your dad, and then the next geezer she comes in with, you're like, who's this fucking Mel? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My stepdad, if he's listening.
He's never going to win you over straight away. It takes time. Even Fergie in the early days of United was losing a lot of games. Like, do you know what I mean? He didn't start off on the winning streak that he had. Like, he was lucky to keep his job in the early days, but they stuck with him and he managed to build a team. And then he built a team that would last generations, you know, using the academy and picking right players. You know, he had the time. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe we need to give Ollie a little bit more time for him to actually put in process his plan. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I'm not a football pundit. I don't know. I can only call it as I see it.
I don't really know what his plan is. I don't even know if he knows what his plan is, to be honest. But yeah, you're right, man. The first 5 years under Fergie, I think I just saw a Twitter comparing Klopp's first 5 years to Fergie's. Klopp absolutely pisses all over Fergie. So I just don't. This day and age, though, Rock, you're afforded the time to really make the. I mean, everyone, when Arsenal won the FA Cup back in July, everyone's thinking Arteta, he's solid now for the next 4 years. We know his plan. This is our style of football. Look at Klopp, what he's done at Liverpool. We've got to give the same time to Arteta. They all want him out now. They're making T-shirts saying to get him out.
Oh, it's just Wenger all over again, mate.
What can he do? What can he do? Fucking hell. Yeah.
See, this problem. You don't have the luxury anymore of time. Like, you got to come in. You got to perform. Otherwise, you know, you have a bad run of like 5 games, then the question starts getting asked. Like, is it time for him to go? 5 games. That's it. All you need is to lose 5 games in a row, or even draw a couple of those, and people are saying, "Do you know what? I'm not sure he's the right man for the job." Yeah. It's so harsh, isn't it?
And they were doing a trophy presentation following the bus round 5 weeks before, going, "Yeah, you're the man. You're the man." Crazy.
Fans are so fickle, aren't they? Results.
I think the social media generation hasn't helped it as well. Because stats are just so readily available now. As soon as Henderson gives the ball away, Opta Joe have got a tweet up saying Henderson has given the ball away 61% this season. Yeah. It's like, get him out, get Clint Dempsey in, get him out.
That's not a lie, though, unfortunately. Yeah, it is, mate. It's just And do you know what? Fans love to hate as well. I feel like people just in general love to jump on someone. They love a scapegoat. They love to funnel their aggression and their frustrations on someone. So it's like, right, you, right now it's you. They never just be like, never mind, we'll get there. It's just that passion to want to win.
I understand.
That's football fans.
That's football fans, Rock. You're totally right.
Yeah.
We've got a few more questions for you that we are going to save to the end, but this is the next part of the show that I like to call Matchday Mixer. Now, obviously, Rock, we've spoken about this before. We went on air. A lot of people have less love for the game because they can't actually go to the game, and it's made a lot of people kind of question the future of football. Is it in good hands? A lot of decisions are being made that's tearing the integrity away. But one thing that I know can put a smile on everyone's faces is it's the Matchday Mixer. So this is the part where I pick 5 of the best matchday experiences and couple them all together and get your options for them. So obviously you've got to wear something cool. You've got to have a decent pair of trainers on. You're going to be listening to some fly tunes as you head down to the ground. And you need some food and drink. They're just 5 things that all of us who go to the matches do every match we go to, right? So first and foremost, I'm gonna touch on the jacket that you've chosen. I mean, if you were wearing this jacket right now with that hat that you've got on right now, it would be an absolute scene, mate. But this is a CP company, this is an old edition, a CP company jacket. I gave you a long list of brands you could have chosen. You obviously like your CP, Rock. Love that.
I do, mate. Do you know what? Fenners is obviously massively into his jackets. And he used to bring in some beautiful jackets. I remember seeing them and thinking, because I hadn't really heard of CP Company before Fenners was started to wear them. Like I was a bit more like, I kind of knew your Stone Islands and whatnot, but I'd not really heard of CP Company. And then I kind of checked out some of the jackets and I was like, oh man, these are nice. Like these are cool coats. Nick, I purchased it. I got one. It was like a silvery kind of reflective kind of material. Shimmer, yeah. And loved it, mate. And I still like, it's probably my favourite jacket I've got now. Just a lovely fit, and it kind of comes. I like a jacket that zips all the way up to the top, like a proper like covers me double chin. Like I like a zip right there, man. That's me. I used to wear a coat that was just like around the neck. I like tracky tops. They're the ones that come right up. I love that. So yeah, got a couple of CP jackets. Obviously got the CP hat, which was which I actually bought for Total Techers when I was doing that for Joe, just for the intro because I thought it was a cool hat. Stormzy obviously wore it on the but yeah, mate. So big fan.
Big fan myself. I actually had Fenners on the show a good 6 months ago at the start of lockdown, and we went through his top 3 casual jackets, and I think there was 2 Stone Islands and an Adidas, but the rest that he mentioned anyway, it was a lot of CP. Do you know what? I know quite a lot about CP because my missus used to work for marketing, and they distribute Stone Island and CP, right? So I got quite a lot of bits and bobs that my missus would kind of put away and not tell anyone about. She doesn't work there now, so I can say this. But
if you've got
you've got on your hat. Exactly.
Yeah.
The goggles that you've got, right? So there was a race in Italy. So I think it's still happening. It's called La Mille Miglia, right? Which means 1,000 miles. Yeah. And when this race first started, it was very cold. So the drivers needed something to cover their heads for warmth, but also they needed goggles to see where they're fucking going, right? So if you imagine this, right? They would have that on to keep them warm in this car, driving 1,000 miles in these old school cars. And then they would have the goggles there as their kind of helmet all in one kind. There you go. That is the history of that. That what Rocket is doing right now is a look that's been passed down by the generations. But that's why they kept the goggles. There you go. Can you still see me?
I can see perfectly. It's brilliant, to be fair. Ears are protected from the sun, mate.
So next time
the only problem with that is you got to turn it inside out to do it.
Yeah, well, maybe this is a new thing that they've added, Rock. I don't know.
But yeah.
But there you go, CP Company, great. Fantastic jacket, fantastic choice to start off with. Now, obviously, as you know, as Fenners knows, you can't really, well, in my opinion, you kind of have to match the jacket with the footwear, right? Now, obviously, you've gone for any color. The producer, Stan, has gone for these, though. And this goes perfectly with the jacket that we've just spoken about. But these are the Adidas Handballs, a terrace classic, Rocket, really are. I saw a pair of these in Transal Spino a couple of days ago when I was in Liverpool, which is a really old school casual kind of shop. And there are some guys that look around in the Hamburgs. You've got I mean, there's the City series, isn't there? You've got the Dublins, the Manchesters that have just come out. Adidas have killed it, and this is a real throwback. So I'm loving this one.
I love the Hamburgs. I love the soles. I love the little bit at the front, mate. I love the whole design of them. I think they're beautiful. So yeah, they're probably my trainer of choice, actually. I've never really been like a Nike fan. Like I've never been into. I'm not a Nike fan. Like, I am a Nike fan, but I'd always pick Adidas over Nike when it comes to trainers. I know a lot of the lads at the moment wearing like Air Maxes and like Jordans and whatnot, and yeah, I appreciate them and they look comfy, but for style and it's all about what you wear and what it goes with, really.
How you wear it, mate.
To be honest, mate, I was a bit gutted because I moved house a year ago, and a lot of my trainers went missing. I don't know where they went. So a few hundred quid's worth just vanished. So I was devastated about that because you love the trainers. I don't know, mate. I don't know, but whether they've been put in a box somewhere in the loft or I don't know, mate. But stuff always goes.
Have a little dig around, but no, I'm a big fan of these. I just, to be honest, my favorite in this kind of style is probably the Adidas Handballs. They're a special range, but the Handballs for me are beautiful silo and comfy as anything, really. You've got to wear them in there, otherwise you get the old blisters after a couple of days. But yeah, so far brilliant choices. We've got the CP jacket to go with. We've got the Adidas Handbags as well, looking match ready, especially with that hat on as well. And now obviously we get to listen to some tunes as well. Now I gave a long list of music. I said if there wasn't one you wanted, stick one on. The guys you have picked, my Spotify Wrapped just come out a couple of weeks ago, right? And it tells you who you've listened to the most throughout the year. And it's these guys. It's the DMAs. Unbelievable band. And honestly, mate, if you look at them, you'd think, bloody hell, they've just walked off a bloody council estate in Bristol or something like that. Yeah. But they actually supported Liam Gallagher a couple of years ago at Finsbury Park, and I went to that. And ever since then, I've been hooked. They're unbelievable. Their remixes are incredible. They're club fillers, but they're actually, they could cover Madonna and do it really well, which they did. Yeah. And they can cover Cher. And they've got such an original sound. Talk to me about your love for the DMAs, man.
Do you know what? The first time I heard them was when they came on Soccer AM. They came on and they did an acoustic. I can't remember what song they did. I'm just getting the tunes up now because I'm useless at remembering names of tunes. But they did an acoustic version of one of their tracks. And mate, honestly, I was blown away. I was like, it's probably the best music we've ever had on the show. Like, it was so good. Everyone was buzzing off it. And they were top lads as well. They came in like
Australian.
They just looked like they just kind of been dragged off the street, like, and their sound so like they Aussie lads. They are, aren't they? They're Aussie boys.
Henderson fan as well,
Yeah, but their sound is so like UK. Their tunes are like, do you know what I mean? They've got that UK vibe. But mate, I kind of got their first album, and I just had it on repeat for about 3 weeks. I just loved it. Not been seeing them live, but yeah, I do. I always stick their album on. My old man loves it as well. We went on holiday and I stuck the album on. He was like, "Who's this?" It's like, DMAs. Quality, aren't they? So got a lot of love for them, mate. A lot of love for their old stuff and their new stuff.
100%. It's beautiful, that, isn't it? Where your dad thinks he knows everything about music, and you whack something on, and he goes, "Who's this then?" And then the next time you see him, he's got all their CDs. I love that. Yeah. And my dad's like man as well. So if I can pass a bit on, I'm happy with that. But the DMAs, unbelievable band. Yeah, they are Aussie lads. And you can definitely tell the UK reference, because they just grew up listening to Oasis and Stone Roses. Like, it's just what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is another one. To be fair, it was between Oasis and DMAs for me out of that list you sent. I was
Well, listen,
I was tempted to go Oasis because obviously that's kind of like music of a generation. Do you know what I mean? We grew up listening to that. Their big tunes came out while I was at school. So year 9, year 8, year 9. And mate, honestly, just like been to see him live, probably one of the best gigs I've ever seen. So it was close call between Oasis and DMAs, but to be fair, I probably listen to more DMAs at the moment than Oasis, so that's why they got the sway. But
well, listen,
yeah,
we're
love
going
it,
to touch on your relationship with a certain member from Oasis just shortly on in the show. Let's get through the Matchday Mixer then. You obviously got to keep well hydrated on the day. You got to keep warm as well, especially if the weather's like
yes,
this.
mate.
You've gone for a tea rocket. A lot of people on this show would go for a little rum on a match day, maybe a beer, maybe even a vodka if it's really cold.
Mate,
I mean, cup of tea, is that 100% the one for you?
Do you know, I love a tea. I can't do coffee. I don't drink coffee, which surprises a lot of people. All my mates get really frustrated with me. They're like, "Just have a coffee." I'm like, "I don't like it. It's too bitter. I'm not a coffee man." But give me a classic PG brew with 1 sugar. That's me. I'm sorted. Like that's I think my old man has 2 sugars, and he's always like 1 sugar. Like there was a point where he's having 4 sugars, and I was like, 4 sugars. So, I used to have 2 sugars, but I've kind of got it down to 1. Normally half is fine. But mate, I love a brew. I will just, I'll probably have about 5 or 6 brews a day, which isn't too bad, really. But yeah, I do love a cup of tea. Warms me up, just calms me down. Just love a brew, mate.
No, I love it as well. I've only just got into tea, though. I can't lie. I've only been drinking tea about 2 years, and I probably only have about 5 cups a week. But I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. Just don't fancy it, man.
Have you not?
Never. No.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, mate. Do you know what? Right, when I moved to the Joe offices, they're in Shoreditch, and obviously at Sky they had lots of tea, English breakfast and whatnot. And I went to Shoreditch, London, where my new office was, and they didn't have like just as normal tea. It was all like mint tea, green tea, like. And I was just like, "Where's the normal tea?" They're like, "No, these are the teas." I was like, "Come on, man, where's the normal teas?" But they didn't have it, so I had to get in. I had to buy my own box of PG and bring them in, and just be like, "I've tried Yorkshire tea as well, but I'm going to upset a lot of people here. But I just can't really get on with Yorkshire tea. I don't know. I don't like change. That's the problem."
Fair play. No, I think that's what happens.
I like my PG.
Costs about £9 for a cup of tea, and it's not even tea, really, is it? It's just green water, if anything. So
Liberty.
Anyway, Liberty. The food choice that you've gone for is an absolute staple of the kind of English match-going fan. You've gone with the fish and chips. To be fair, I'm absolutely marveling at the minute, and this is and I'm not even a huge fish and chips fan, but this is making me hungry.
Do you know what? I'm not. Fish and chips is a bit touch and go. I put it down because I've got a lot of memories with fish and chips. There always seems to be a fish and chips open somewhere. Like fish and chips is one of those ones that you can just, you can rely on it. I pretty much like everything on the menu in a fish and chips. Like there's nothing that I wouldn't eat in a fish and chip shop. Whereas, like kebab, yeah, you got to be in the right mood for a kebab. Messy. Do you know what I mean? I just love the fact that you can just eat out the paper. You got the paper, bit of tomato sauce, bit of salt and vinegar. It's there. Once you're done, you throw it away. No mess. Nice warm chips, nice bit of fish, mate. That's why I went for it.
I love that, how you've explained how great a fish and chips, all the benefits of eating a fish and chips.
Yeah, it's easy. Like plastic box with a fork. Like, I want to be messing about with that. I literally want hold it, eat it, throw it.
Squash.
Jobs are good.
Go into Old Trafford. Love it. Well, there you go. There's Rocket's Matchday Mixer. Do let us know what you think about that in the comments. It's definitely up there with some of the Matchday Mixers that we've had. So we've had 27 of them, but this is definitely top 5, just because it suits my style of dressing, shoes, music. I love it all. So Rock, love that. Thank you very much for your Matchday Mixer. Excellent choices, if I do say so myself. The next part of the show is Would You Rather. Now, obviously, you are a Man United fan, unfortunately, Rocket, on this channel it is anyway. So I've given you 3 options here. Now, I'd like you to choose one of them and give me your reasons behind it. So We've gone midfield partnerships. There's 3 couples. First couple is Roy Keane and Xabi Alonso. Then you've got Stevie G and Paul Scholes, 2 of the 3 names really that are just debated about in generations, in barbershops, in pubs. I was in a pub a week ago, right? To go off topic for a sec. I'm having a piss in the toilet.
I've lost it, mate. I can't hear you. You've gone dead on me.
Can you hear me now? What we're going to do is just take Rocket out and then bring him back in. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out. I've got you now.
He's got me now. So, right, just off topic for a sec. I was in the pub the other day.
Very in and out, mate. You sound like a robot. Yeah.
Is that all right? What I might do, actually.
It was going so well, mate. It was going so well. I can't hear what you're saying.
Can you hear me now, though?
Yes, I've got you now.
Right, sweet. Let's crack on. So I was in the pub before lockdown 2. I'm having a wee, minding my own business, and I can hear, yeah, to be honest, mate, I just never fancied Gerrard as a player. And I've got no right involved in this conversation. I'm not even in the cubicles. I'm in the actual toilet bit. I've come out. I'm washing my hands. I'm looking at this fella like, sorry, mate, I was just doing a piss in there. I couldn't help but overhearing. Sorry, just
brilliant.
Sorry, you don't rate Gerrard as a player. Sorry. And he goes, yeah, you know, didn't fancy him, even for England. Him and Lampard, I never rated them. Couldn't play together. He's like, look at what they did for England. I was like, forget England, mate. Look what Gerrard did for his club. Sorry, he won everything almost. He's like, nah, I fancy Glenn Hoddle, me. I was like, listen, mate, fuck off. I'm not talking to you anymore. Waste of time. He was a Tottenham fan, to be honest. But we got Stevie and Scholesy.
Oh, yeah. He's a Spurs fan. He's a Spurs fan. I knew he was going to be. Yeah, I knew it.
He said Glenn Hoddle for me. He's all over Gerrard. I was like, all right, mate. Yeah. All right. No
Scholes all day long.
No, so hang on. Hold your horses. You've got to choose from Keane and Alonso, Gerrard and Scholes, or Pogba and Thiago as your partnership. You can only have one couple out of these 3. Who'd you go for?
Oh shit! So I've got to choose one of the pairing.
You have got to choose one.
Choose one of the 2. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Give them to me again, mate. You keep cutting out. Sorry, it might be me. Give it to me again. So you got. Who was it?
They're on the screen if you can see. No.
Oh yeah. I see him now.
You've got Keane and Alonso.
Yeah, mate, I'm gonna have to go Gerrard and Scholes.
Gerrard and Scholes. Simple, yeah.
Gerrard and Scholes.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. Day long, mate. Out of those 6.
There you go.
Those 3,
wasn't a long one there for Rocket.
Mate, so much class. The thing is, right, with the others, I don't know. Sometimes they have off days, whereas I feel like Gerrard and Scholes just produce so much quality in their careers that you just can't argue with that. That as a partnership, frightening.
What a partnership that would have been. Let's get into some other bits then. I mean, Rocket, like we said at the top of the show, you've had such a great career in the football TV world. You've met everyone, really. You've interviewed everyone. This guy is obviously in the news a lot. He's one of Man U's main men, obviously, doing an incredible job in everything that he's doing, really. And we saw how well he was recognised at the Sports Personality of the Year Awards. I mean, there you're working for Joe Rocket. What a guy Rashford is, eh, Marcus? Hello?
Oh, man, what a legend on and off the pitch. What he's done recently is just used his platform. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got
Can you hear me? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello.
Yeah.
I'll keep talking and then hopefully you'll pick up a little bit. Yeah, Marcus, what a man. Like, what is he, 22, 23? He's and what he's done is unbelievable. You know, with the help of his mum, I saw him shout her out today. He's just like such a good lad. Obviously, he's come from kind of poverty. He come from a rough upbringing. so he knows what it's like to go hungry and to go without. So he's used his platform for good, and it's unbelievable what he's managed to do. And he's not only done that, but he's also smashed them in on the pitch as well. So easy going and nice. Do you know what I mean? I've met players before, and you get a bit of not arrogance, but players, you know, they're on a lot of money. They rate themselves. I didn't get any of that from Rashford. Just literally genuine, lovely. Couldn't do more. He just wanted to make sure that I got what I wanted out of the feature. Just like, don't know, just the real top lads, you know. So yeah, got a lot of time for Rashi.
Yeah, no, do you know what, mate? I think he'll
I don't know
be
if you heard much of that, mate.
No, I heard it all. Thank you for that. But I think Rashford's probably the first time that a Man United player is going to be applauded at Anfield when they come on January 17th. And I hope that is the case, because how can you hate on Marcus Rashford? What
amazing.
a boy. But then there's also someone that obviously viewers of this channel will like. Here's you and the big man, Jurgen Norbert Klopp. Was this for a New Balance shoot, Rob?
Yeah. It was, mate. Yeah, it was for New Balance. It was through Joe, and what we did, we took a Everton fan and put him up against Jurgen to play a couple of board games. So he played Cluedo and he played Guess Who, and they had like Liverpool players on the Guess Who, and had a quick game. Not Cluedo. What was it? I forget what the other game was. But anyway, it's irrelevant. But he was such a top man. Like, just I could have listened to his stories for days on end. Just the way he tells them, he's enthusiastic, he's smiley. You know, just a genuinely lovely man. Just has like this warmth about him where nothing's a problem. He was joking. He just had a really nice way about him. On the flip side, I interviewed Jose. Oh man, that was hard work. That was one of the hardest interviews I've ever done. Jose Mourinho. Oh, mate. So I had to go over to Madrid, right? And it was through La Liga and Live Score. And we had to do 8 different features in about 40 minutes, right? So he's finished his last shoot, okay? And then I've got to set up lights, cameras, all of that, make sure the shots, and I've got all my questions. And we've walked in, and he's gone, okay, let's go. And I was like, sorry, Jose, we just need to get set up. We just need to sort the lights and get the cameras up. He's like, oh, okay. So I said to him, right, Jose, the first feature is tell us something we wouldn't know about you. You know, it took you 3 times to pass your driving test, or you believe in aliens, or something that we wouldn't know. He went, nope, I'm not doing that. Boring. Nobody cares. Next. And I was like, okay. So that's one feature down that he doesn't want to do. Second feature. So what we did is we had like a couple of like fun features, and then it was more football based. So the next one was like your ideal dinner party. Which 4 guests, dead or alive, would you have at a dinner party? And he was like, dinner party. And we have people over for food and drink and that. He's like, well, I need half an hour to think. So bear in mind, we've got 40 minutes, right? And he wants half an hour to think of who he's going to invite to his dinner party. And I've got 8 features to film. So anyway, he's going, shall I put Steve in? Steve would be funny, wouldn't it, if I put Steve in? I was like, so who's Steve? And he's like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we rushed through that. Didn't even see the light of day. It was terrible. Right.
Wow.
And then luckily I managed to get into we did movie star Roger, which was quotes. So I had a list of quotes, and it was like, did a movie star say it? Did a manager say it? And to be fair to him, he turned it on, and he was brilliant. You know, he was happy with the feature, and he came alive. And I was like, this is like a completely different Jose to the one that I've just spoken to. And he was like, he was having good rapport with me and having a good laugh. And I was like, okay, well, at least we got 1 out of the 8. And then as we went on, we kind of did a feature where we just talked about him, and he was great. You know, talk about him for days. But the contrast between Jose and Jurgen Klopp, well, couldn't have been more different. You know, Jurgen was there signing shirts. He was like having a laugh, having a photo. And I said to Jose, is it all right to get a quick picture once we're done? And he went, okay. And he just did this face.
What not?
So I'm there smiling, like, and he's like, and I was like, oh shit, all right.
Oh.
But yeah, two very different people. What's that,
Now
mate?
let's talk about the picture, Rocket. I mean, this
Say again, mate?
picture is legendary. It's you wearing the actual Maradona Hand of God Argentina strip that he actually wore when he actually did what he did, right? How have you managed to get that on your back?
Mate, do you know what? It was we used to do a feature called the Wonder Wall. It was Fenners dressed up as like his main character. You know, he goes, "Welcome to the sunshine," and he would come on in his coat and do his dance. And each week we'd have something that we'd put on the Wonder Wall, whether it was like an old classic pair of boots or an old like just old memorabilia, basically. And this shirt, Maradona's shirt, rocked up, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's the actual shirt he's worn." We did the feature on the show, and at that time, I was only like, I think I was on props, so I kind of looked after all the props, whether it was like something for a gag or whether it was a shirt. I was in charge of the props, so I had this shirt, and I was like, "Wow, this is Maradona's shirt." Now, in hindsight, like looking back, I don't know whether I should have stuck it on because of because obviously it was the hand of God, you know, did England over in the World Cup. Like, should I have stuck it on? I don't know, but I did anyway. I just whipped my top off, stuck it on, had a photo, and yeah, and I kind of just put it up recently, just when Maradona passed. But yeah, what a bit of memorabilia that is! Unbelievable, mate. The memories associated with that. So yeah, I had to stick it on, mate. Stuck it on.
I love how there was someone.
Would you have done that?
Oh, mate, I would have taken it home. Don't worry about that. I would have definitely done it.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Don't worry about that, mate. Honestly, I'll be in my bag going, what? No, there was a Maradona shirt, was there? No, I haven't seen it. Sorry. 2 hours later, that's on eBay. Speaking of Maradona, there was a famous picture that came out.
Shirt.
Yeah. There was a famous picture that's just come out when he passed of Noel Gallagher, Maradona, and Liam Gallagher. And this was a night out they had, I think, in Argentina off their nut on whatever, you know what. But you actually, I mean, you obviously worked with Noel on the show when he came on Soccer AM. But here we can see your 40th, Noel's 40th birthday invite addressed to Rocket. I mean, this party must have been absolutely mental, mate.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Like, so Noel Gallagher had been on the show the week before, and I hadn't really done much with him that time he came on. I dressed up as Ant and Dec, and we did a challenge with him. We had to draw something. He drew Balotelli, which I ended up keeping that drawing that he did. But this was going back into the Lovejoy era, and the whole crew got invited to his 40th birthday. So there was like 12 of us, all rocked up to Noel's 40th. Mate, what a night. It was just unbelievable. It was just like everywhere you looked, there was like a superstar or a celebrity. And I made the bit of a mistake of there were 3 cocktails and they didn't taste like there was any alcohol in them at all. And I think I had about 2 or 3 and I was a mess, mate. I was like, I don't even remember half the night, but what I do remember is having like a dance off with David Williams. That lasted about 20 minutes. Me and him just going head to toe, just dancing off. And then I remember just chatting to James, like, I'm name dropping here, but this is just how surreal it was. I'm chatting to James Corden about football and just chatting about, because he was Gavin and Stacey had only just come out then. So he was still a bit of an unknown kind of, he was very unknown still, bit of, you know, haven't reached the heights that he has now. So I'm just chatting to James Corden. You know, I go into the toilets and I'm having a wee next to Liam Gallagher and Paul Weller. And do you know what's funny, right?
That's unbelievable.
I didn't know what to wear, mate. I didn't know what to wear to the party. So I went out and bought a shirt especially for the party. And I knew that the guys were into their what's the pattern that they're into? The what's like the pretty green stuff? It's very
Paisley.
What's the design? Oh, that's going to do my head in now. I can't remember what the design is. Paisley, yeah. So I bought a Paisley shirt, right? But it was green. It was a green Paisley shirt. It was horrible, mate. It was horrible. But I think I got it from TK Maxx. But I thought, oh yeah, that's definitely Oasis. That is. So I thought that, right? And then I've gone into the toilets, and Noel and Paul are there, and I'm having a wee, and I'm Liam, sorry, and Liam went, "Fucking hell, look at that shirt." And he did it in like a, look at that shirt, like that is a minging shirt. And I was like, I knew it was a bad shirt, but funny, mate. Either way, and then I was sick on the way home out the car window, mate. Oh, what a nightmare! But what a party that was, honestly.
I bet there were some scenes going off in that party, which we won't go into, but I bet it was absolutely popping off.
We had to hand our phones in, mate. Everyone had to hand their phones in, so no pictures were taken. But yeah, good night had by all.
That is a brilliant anecdote. I actually bumped into Liam Gallagher about 2 months ago in Hampstead Heath, and I was riding my bike because it was an early morning bike ride. You know Kenwood House bit, so you're looking at the view of London. It's incredible. I was there looking at this view, and in my head I was thinking, I'm pretty sure Liam goes running around here, so maybe I'll bump into him one day. Anyway, on my bike, right, and I'm looking at this view, and I hit someone and go, "Oh shit, sorry mate, fucking Liam Gallagher and his brother Paul Gallagher, yeah." Fucking hell, mate. And I was like, oh. And this is, and I like yourself, man, embarrassed myself, because if I'd have seen him 10 seconds before my ride, I would have thought of something decent to say. But because I've gone, shit, mate, the first thing that's come out of my mouth was, "Oh, fucking love you, mate."
Brilliant.
And he went,
I bet he thought, "Oh, great, got one here."
Then I said, "Oh, can I get a quick picture?" And he's like, "Nah, mate, not now. It's a bit early for all that. I'm out and about and that, you know what I mean?" And I was like, "Oh, all right."
No.
Stood there on my bike.
Your photo.
And then he looked round at me as if to be like, he kept doing this as if to be like, "Is this fucking weirdo going to start cycling after me and following me here?"
Oh, mate, it's horrible that moment, isn't it?
Oh, what do you say? I mean, I'm glad I said that and met him, as opposed to never met him. Do you know what I mean? Fuck it, like it's happened.
Yeah. It's been and gone, mate. Just got to live with it.
Unbelievable, right?
Do you know what? Like, because I made a bit of a, not a tit out of myself, but obviously I was dancing with David Wellens. People kind of took note that I was there. And I remember Noel Gallagher came on the show about 6 years later, and he went, "Here, you was at my 40th birthday, weren't you?" And I was like, "Oh shit! Like, what does he remember?" Because I don't remember much at all. All I just remember was dancing like a knobhead to Dave Williams. So I was like, "Yeah," and then kind of just went off sheepishly, like, "Hope I didn't upset you in any way." But no, good times, mate.
Oh, unbelievable stories. Honestly, bro, I can sit here and we will. When we meet up, we will get into a lot more stories than that. But it's time for that part of the show, which I call Top of the Kops Moments of the Week. Now, obviously, Top of the Kops is a very much a play on Top of the Pops, and every week on Top of the Pops, you had a number one. So we're counting down from number 2 today, and then we will, of course, reveal the number 1 Top of the Kops Moment of the Week. But number 2, Rocket, is that this video has emerged. We haven't got the video, it's just a still, unfortunately. You know what the budgets are like. But this video is of Virgil van Dijk back in rehab, back in training indoors. And there's a lot of calls to say that he could actually be back a lot sooner than people think. So for that reason, it's number 2 of this week's Top of the Kops. I mean, when that injury happened, Rocket, Pickford absolutely destroyed Van Dijk, didn't he? And everyone's thinking it might be a year. Is he going to play again? Yeah. To see this of such a giant and beast of a man, a beautiful man, I must say as well, to see him back in training with a smile on his face, walking on both legs, what a sight for Liverpool fans.
Yeah. That's got to be massive for Liverpool fans because he's such a key player, and he controls so much of the game from the back. Do you know what I mean? He's just such an influence that I do feel like he will just lift Liverpool even further. I do feel like if he's back in time for United game, we're in big trouble. You know, I can't see us scoring against you. I just can't see it happening.
And number 1 this week is a beautiful moment that, well, for Liverpool fans anyway, that we witnessed on BBC Sport Personality of the Year. It's Jordan Henderson and Jurgen Klopp taking home the Best Team and Best Coach Award of the year. Jordan Henderson also came second in the Individual Sports Personality of the Year award, only to Lewis Hamilton. Mate, what Jordan has done on and off the pitch, I mean, you've known him now for gone 10 years. Does it surprise you that he's so consistent at the top, and how the team looks so different when he's not in it?
Yeah, he's unbelievable. I remember a lot of people being like, what does Henderson do? Like, because he's not a flamboyant player, he doesn't do tricks or flicks, but his vision and his ability to calm the ball down and find space, he's just, mate, he's such a great player. And yeah, from his days at Sunderland, was it Sunderland he was at? Yeah, academy, yeah. To now, it's incredible. He's just the ultimate professional. And I've got nothing but respect for the man. He is quality. He's an out and out true professional, and an asset to Liverpool's team. But yeah, what a man.
And you were with him right at the start. Amazing journey for him. So that is the top of the Kops, number 1 of the week. A massive, massive, massive shout out to Rocket for coming on the show tonight. It's been over an hour, mate, so I don't want to keep you any longer. A huge, massive respect to you, bro, for coming on. I love hearing the stories. And listen, when we do work with each other down the road, I'd love to really unearth a lot more and pick your brain about the industry and stuff like that. So for me, it's an actual honour for you to come on tonight. So I'm really grateful, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, mate, I appreciate the invite. Keep doing it, mate. Keep bossing it, smashing it, mate. Loving the content. So keep going, and good luck on the 17th, because you're gonna need it.
Exactly like that, just at the end. If you want to follow Rocket, guys, over 100,000 followers on Twitter, then you can log into his account just below and give him a good old follow. So yes, until next time, we'll be back on Thursday. Yeah, well, he was hacked this morning, so don't pay any attention to that nonsense. But he'll be back soon. That's been a nightmare day for Rocket, so I don't want to take him too much more of his time. We'll be back on Thursday with Kop to Bottom, the Premier League preview show that rounds up the whole thing with James Redmond and Doyle as usual. Until then, please like, comment and subscribe. Go and follow Rocket. Take care. I'll see you soon.